Why?
We are black. We respect our culture. We are the history. We stand for unity. We stand for integrity. We all Splash. 105.5 FM.
105.5 The Splash.
Splash FM 105.5.
Good morning. Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to another fantastic time with your favorite radio station here in Ibadan and in the Southwest, to be honest. Splash 105.5 FM is reaching you live from the big brown roof city called Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State. It's a beautiful Friday morning, and we're really lucky and blessed to be here today. It's wonderful to have you here as well with us. I am Ronke Giwa Onafuwa. It is time for your favorite breakfast show on radio. Anywhere. It is the Morning Splash with me, and of course we're going to have a great time from now all the way till about 9 o'clock. There's a few things that we're going to do in between, but I'm just really blessed to be alive today, and I hope you are too. Welcome to the show, and welcome to another bright, beautiful day, another fun Friday. It's going to be a great day indeed. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, let's move on. As it is Friday, I'm sure you all know that we have what we call our bonus package of Straight from the Dailies coming first. And of course, we call it a bonus package because it's just for about 15-20 minutes where we just, rake out all of the news headlines for you. And of course, we showcase some of the very interesting stories in the newspapers. And so we're on time this morning. And of course, we're definitely going to make sure we make good use of our time today. What happens on Friday also is that you cannot call in as you normally would do on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesday, Thursday, but then you can text in. We'd love to read your text messages this morning, so do feel free to text in. Without further ado, I will definitely go through the newspaper headlines this morning from the Tribune newspaper. We definitely like to bring you the COVID-19 updates, and there's been about 287 new cases confirmed, which has brought a total of 159,933 confirmed cases of COVID-19 since, the COVID-19 pandemic hit the world. And out of the 159,933, 142,404 have been discharged, and sadly, we've had about 2,001 deaths. All right, so continue to social distance, continue to do the right thing, wear your mask. It is super important to continue to wear your mask. And of course, the vaccination is here in Oyo State. That's actually our first story here. And once again, we asked the question, would you take the vaccination? Would you take the COVID-19 vaccination? All right, the government of Oyo State on Thursday confirmed the receipt of 127,740 doses of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA, Abuja. A statement by the Chief Press Secretary to Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, Mr. Taiwo Adisa, indicated that the vaccines were received in Ibadan by the Oyo State Primary Healthcare Board on Thursday. According to the statement, the Executive Secretary of the Board, Dr. Muideen Olatunji, who confirmed the development, said that 127,740 doses of the vaccine were received by the state government as part of the first phase of vaccine distribution. And to have the vaccine so close to us, we continue to ask people, because a lot of people obviously still are still very skeptical about the COVID-19 vaccines. And of course, to add to the people's, skepticism, we've got a story here about side effects and how some countries actually have suspended the rollout. It's in the Punch newspaper, and I'm sure a lot of people who are already thinking there's some sort of conspiracy theory, who are already skeptical, this would definitely fuel their skepticism. All right, so here in the papers, the Punch, it says the federal government on Thursday said Nigeria would continue to administer the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine despite its suspension by 8 European countries over fear of its possible deadly side effects. The Minister of State for Health, Dr. Oloronimbe Mamora, in an interview with one of a Punch correspondents in Abuja, said suspending the vaccine would amount to a fire brigade approach. Also, prominent virologist Professor Oyewale Tomori, in an interview with The Punch, stated that there was nothing to worry about. Recall that the federal government on Tuesday last week received 3.94 million doses of the vaccine from COVAX facility, an initiative co-led by the Vaccine Alliance, Gavi, and the World Health Organization. But as Nigeria continued to deploy doses of the vaccine on Thursday, an international news channel, France 24, reported that 7 European countries, that is Denmark, Norway, Austria, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Luxembourg, suspended all or part of its rollout as a precaution while they investigated concerns relating to blood clots and other side effects caused by the vaccine. BBC reported that Iceland had suspended the vaccine, making the total number of countries 8. Danish health authorities suspended all AstraZeneca vaccinations for 2 weeks after a 60-year-old woman who had been vaccinated formed a blood clot and died, according to France 24. The move follows reports of serious cases of blood clots among people vaccinated with AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine, Danish health authorities said in a statement. But the country cautiously added that it has not been determined at the time being that there is a link between the vaccine and the blood clots. Norway follows suit, suspending all AstraZeneca vaccinations. All right, so for those who are already skeptical, this, like I said, will definitely fuel skepticism and, of course, might make people draw back, those who are already willing to take the vaccine. But then I think that Nigeria definitely should do their investigation as well. But I have a feeling they're probably going to wait for these countries to carry out the investigation and then, they have decided to continue to vaccinate. So with this in mind, for those who had said they were, willing to get vaccinated, would this change your mind? I definitely would love to know. I'd love to know your thoughts. So, hey, go on your text message, send me a text message and tell me your thoughts. I'd definitely love to read from you this morning. All right, taking other stories this morning. There are plenty of interesting stories from the Punch newspaper. Another interesting story from the Tribune newspaper today is this bizarre one where an Anambra State Police Command on Thursday paraded an 80-year-old woman, Mrs. Chidi Felicia Nwafo, and 39-year-old Madam Rejoice Raymond, who are natives of Umunya in Oyi local government area of Anambra State, for child trafficking and torture. Looking at the pictures of the children, thankfully their faces have been blurred somewhat, but you can still see some of the injuries, they've received. The duo, according to the Police Public Relations Officer, PPRO of the command, CSP Haruna Mohammed, were however nabbed at the Federal Housing Estate area of Onitsha. Mohammed said that the suspects allegedly confined 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, inside different rooms in Onitsha and subjected them to physical and emotional torture without food and inflicted several wounds on their bodies, leaving them unconscious and at the point of death. He said the victims, who were badly battered with lacerations all over their bodies and one with a broken arm, were found in the pool of their blood, rescued and rushed to the hospital for medical attention. I mean, this is just sick. You would think that a woman this age should be probably thinking of, humbling herself and, being, thinking about life, as she's obviously getting to that point of her life, would not be involved in this kind of thing. But, thankfully, the Ministry of Women Affairs has gotten involved. Apparently, they are to sell the children stolen from all parts of the country to her waiting customers. But I'm wondering, if they sell these children, why would they treat them in such a way? So including a recent attempt to smuggle out 2 children, a boy and a girl, allegedly stolen from Niger State since 2018. Meanwhile, all the children recovered by the police are presently under the protective care of the Anambra State Ministry for Social Welfare. Wow, well, God continue to just keep our children and keep them from harm or people from like this one. These are people that you just pray, never come around you. All right. Also in the papers this morning, this is, when you see the word petrol in the newspapers, it just gives you anxiety because that's one of the things that give people anxiety. Till now, there's still some queues in some petrol stations because some petrol, because of the price disparity, some petrol stations are selling at a much more expensive rate than other petrol stations. At some point, petrol stations were even shut. Well, there's news in the papers this morning where the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency has revealed in a monthly template that the price of premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, has reached 212.6 naira per litre. According to the template, which the PPPRA released on Thursday, petrol is expected to sell at a lower retail price of 209 naira 61 kobo and at an upper retail rate of 212 naira 61 kobo, which is usually followed by marketers. The expected ex-depot price as seen in the template is 206 naira 42 kobo, while the landing cost is 189 naira 61 kobo. This is despite the Nigerian Petroleum Corporation saying there won't be any change in the price of PMS in the month of March. With ex-depot price standing at 206 naira 42 kobo per litre, the March template showed that the landing cost for petrol per litre is 189 naira 61 kobo. Although the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation says petrol price would remain static in March to allow smooth negotiations between the government and the labor unions, PPPRA's template follows the increasing price of crude at the international market as well as instability in exchange rate. Well, more details would definitely come, so we'll keep our eyes plugged, but when they did say that prices would not, obviously you could tell that Nigerians did not believe that, as Nigerians still went about hoarding petrol, panic buying, because there's a lack of trust. So if there's a lack of trust, no matter what you say, and this is also something that's going to fuel that lack of trust, because if you say that something will stay the same, it should stay the same. But, with plenty of cases where that has not been the case. So, all right, another bizarre story here for you. Another one of those Bangkok-like stories here for you from the Punch newspaper. Now, the police in Rivers State have arrested a father of 4, Favour Ibama, for allegedly raping and stealing from some women in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. A spokesperson for the State Police Command, SP Nnamdi Omoni, disclosed this while parading the suspect at the command's headquarters in Port Harcourt on Thursday. Omoni claimed that the suspect lured his victims with promises after meeting them on social media, adding that he stole from the women after raping them. The police spokesman said Ibama was arrested at a popular supermarket in the Ada George area of Port Harcourt, where one of his victims identified him and raised the alarm. Omoni said what happened was that this young man, Favour Ibama, from Bakana in the Degema local government area, is a serial rapist. He was arrested in connection with several cases of rape committed in different hotels. And his cases are akin to the girls David West, the convict killed in hotels. In this particular case, he didn't kill them. He only drugged, raped, and stole their valuables. I'm so happy when I see situations like this where they don't undermine, the stories of rape survivors. They're not victims now. Rape survivors, where they don't undermine their stories and their truth. But however, I take it seriously enough to, capture and, toss in prison these rapists, and that we're beginning to take it seriously. Definitely a good one from that end. All right. Also in the papers this morning, there's quite a few more headlines that I will take. It is 12 minutes gone past 7. And of course, it is still straight from the dailies. I'm taking stories straight from the dailies today. I'd love to read your messages. If there's any story that resonates with you, you can text to 070 080 5699 8678. This text here says, the proposed increment of fuel pump price above 200 naira by this government is heartless. In fact, this government is terrorizing the masses by its insensitivity. There's nothing one is enjoying from this government, as there is insecurity all over the country. It's all lies. This government should be called Loriro government. May God deliver us from Fashonoye. All right, Loriro. All right, thank you very much for that message. We appreciate it. This text here says, good morning. It is good for the government to wait for the research from the country who have suspended the vaccine before administering it to Nigerians. Since COVID-19 is not severe in Nigeria, to embark on such risk, for me, I can't take the vaccine till I'm sure it's safe. Charles from Yano Church. Fair enough, absolutely. And apart from waiting for them to conduct their research, how about we start to conduct our own research? I mean, we have schools, students studying science here in this country, and it's sad that we cannot even conduct our own research, with regards to this, and we're just taking whatever they sell to us. Definitely we need to do better. We definitely need to do better. All right. Also in the headlines this morning, from Oyo State, another interesting story. The Oyo State Judiciary is set to take off the bondsman system in Oyo State to address the myriad challenges affecting stakeholders and agencies in the administration, which worsens the already prevalent congestion of correctional custodial centers across the state. This was revealed on Thursday during the meeting of the Oyo State Administration of Criminal Justice Law Monitoring Committee, led by the Chief Judge of the state, Justice Munta Abimbola, where salient issues including bordering on how to decongest custodial centers without undermining the course of justice. In his opening address at the meeting, Justice Abimbola declared that reports from custodial centers across the state indicate that there is serious congestion and has become an issue of serious concern, adding that as a body saddled with the responsibility of decongesting custodial centers, the committee must rub minds on how to quickly decongest the centers in Oyo State without jeopardizing the tenets of justice delivery. Absolutely correct. Prisons are becoming... we are talking about this time of the pandemic, and our prisons are places where there's just so many people in one cell. It's ridiculous. We've heard of cases of people who haven't had their day in court, who are still in prison, who have been in prison for a long time. And, that's definitely something anybody wants to experience. For example, even if you're innocent, you haven't had your day in court, and then, people like that, someone like that has to be in prison. You've been in that situation before? No. Okay. Oh, all right. I thought my studio manager, signified the head. But there are people who are in that situation. So there are different conversations that we must be having about, yes, we must decongest, but look at other ways to, make sure that people still serve their time, possibly perhaps not in prison. I don't know how they've come about calling it custodial centers, but it definitely seems better than a prison. A prison just looks like somewhere that should be choked, and it shouldn't be so. These are human beings too, even though some of them are criminals. Some. All right, so real quickly before we call it a day, we haven't got any more time, but this headline says, negotiating with insurgents, bandits suggest weakness in capacity, says National Security Advisor. That's in the papers, and I believe that's all we can do this morning on Straight from the Daily. It's called the bonus edition for that reason, because is just to skim over the headlines and bring you a few stories. But thank you so much for participating. All right, at 8 o'clock on Beyond the Surface today, we have an interesting topic. We've all heard of brain drain, cases of, doctors and people, who are brilliant brains, migrating abroad. There's a new story there about how the WHO is saying UK needs to stop recruiting doctors and nurses and health practitioners. We'll look at what is the reason of that, why, and what the implications are for us here in the country. So thank you for listening. I'm Ronke Giwa Onafuwa.
Splash FM 105.5.